What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dante Boxing Nation. Subscribe below and let's get straight to it. So the tickets for the Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux fight almost sold out. There's only like 100 tickets left, but let them tell it, Rigondeaux can't sell. Nobody want to see Rigondeaux. So if that's the case, how come when Lomachenko fought his last two opponents, he couldn't sell out? There was a lot of empty seats. But when he fighting Rigondeaux, he's selling out in a couple days. You know what I mean? And that's because every time Rigondeaux fights an opponent, that opponent gets his highest payday and his highest views on whatever network it is. But let the network tell it and let the fans tell it. Nobody want to see Rigondeaux because he's this, he's that, making excuses just because they don't want to see their favorite fighter beat by him. However, this time, Rigondeaux moving up 2 weight divisions, so he has all the disadvantages. He's the older person, he's the smaller fighter, and Lomachenko has all the advantages on the other hand. And still, it was Rigondeaux who requested this fight. Lomachenko was kind of 50-50 on it. Bob Arum didn't want it, and Rigondeaux forced this fight to take place. And he wanted it for the past 2-3 years when Loma was at 126. However, Bob Arum stopped that fight from happening. We all know that. For good reasons. So the question is, can Lomachenko dethrone Rigondeaux? Or will it fire back on HBO and Bob Arum like it did with Donaire? Even though, in my opinion, Loma is a better fighter than Donaire. And Rigondeaux is moving up 2 weight divisions. And he's older. He's 2 years older than what it says on the papers. So because of that, you know, Rigondeaux got a hard task at hand, you know. And because Andre Ward retired on top as pound for pound #1, now Crawford's is pound for pound #1. However, the winner of this fight could take the pound for pound #1 spot, depending how they win. Now, if Rigondeaux wins, period, he could be the #1, you know, arguably. Because at the end of the day, he moved up 2 divisions. While if Lomachenko wins, it's kind of it's still his best win because it's Rigondeaux, you know. But at the end of the day, just think about it this way: if Kell Brook moved up and beat Golovkin, shit, everybody would have put him on the top 3 pound for pound, right? But when Golovkin beat Kell Brook, it wasn't all that because the guy moved up 2 weight divisions. So you got to look at it that way. However, what I'm looking forward to the most is Jim Lamley commentary, so I could watch him contradict himself. Because when the seats are empty, when Rigondeaux fights, that's the main thing in the headline the next day. Matter of fact, that's the main thing during the fight. They don't even talk about the fight. They talk about the empty seats all night. But when Lomachenko, half of the arena is empty, he don't talk about that. He never mentioned it. All he talks about is how Lomachenko is the fans' favorite fighter. But why not? Why are they not there to see him then? If that's the case. And when Rigondeaux moves, oh, he's scared. He's running. He don't want to give the fans a great fight. When Lomachenko is moving on his feet, oh my God, look how he's moving. It's like he's floating on water. I'm like, damn, you think he's Jesus now? You know, like that's what they're trying to compare him to. Oh, he the Matrix. But Rigondeaux, on the other hand, he get hit less than Floyd. But nah, he ain't no Matrix. He just, you know, he's just afraid. He's just running. He don't want to get hit. Ain't nobody want to get hit. That's the name of the game. Hit and don't get hit. And Jim Lamley takes it so far, even when Rigondeaux gets knockouts, he be like, nah, that's because of his speed, his accuracy, and timing. And I'm like, huh? Rigondeaux was knocking people out in the amateurs with bigger gloves and headgears. Top amateurs. Let alone the pros with no headgear and smaller gloves. Rigondeaux had her amateur record of 465 fights with only 12 losses. And the 12 losses were robberies. Because the ones I seen was robberies to me because Rigondeaux won the fight. But Lomachenko, on the other hand, he only had 1 loss in the amateurs. Ain't no telling how many close fights he had. And not trying to take credit away from Loma, but even with the Salido fight, the judges had the fight very close, but Salido schooled him. That fight wasn't that close. But the judges are in his favor. So that's why Rigondeaux has a huge task at hand. He better dominate. He can't just win a close fight because they're going to give it to Lomachenko regardless if Rigondeaux move up two weight divisions or not. But at the end of the day, skills pay the bills. And Rigondeaux has to win this fight. If he loses this fight, he's done with. Because if fighters were ducking him then, imagine now. He had to move up 2 divisions and he had to beg for this fight. They wasn't even give it to him. He had to really work hard for this fight to get it. Now imagine if he loses. But Loma, on the other hand, he could lose no problem because Loma lost his 2nd pro fight. And guess what? It was for a title. His 3rd pro fight was for another title. Just to let you know he be okay. However, Rigondeaux, fighters are his own divisions. Cruz, Frampton, Morris, Donaire. After he beat Donaire moved up a weight and came back down in weight. He moved up a weight because he didn't want to be in the same division as Rigondeaux. Frampton ducked Rigondeaux for 2 years. Rigondeaux gave him his belt, told him to fight for it, and then they could unify the divisions after that. What his punk ass did, Frampton moved up right after Rigondeaux gave him the belt. He didn't want to fight Rigondeaux. He didn't want to fight the real champion because he a fake champion. And then he went up to fight another guy who moved up a weight from Rigondeaux division, which is Santa Cruz, to fight 126. So basically, two fighters from 122 pounds moved up a weight to fight at 126 for 126 title. That's how bullshit boxing is when it comes to the best fighting the best at the lower weight divisions. Like, what kind of ducking is going on there, you know? But at the end of the day, to each your zone. If Rigondeaux pull this one off, we already know he'd be an all-time great. However, if Loma wins this, it definitely puts them there, like right there at number 2. And he gonna keep on. He gonna need to grind a little harder to get to the number 1 spot. So, like I always say, subscribe below if you want to get smarter by the minute. If you want to get dumber by the second. Don't listen to these casual ass fans, because at the end of the day, opinion are like assholes. Everybody has one. So when Freddie Roach comes out and say black fighters don't sell, it sounds mad stupid, because the facts are, when Pacquiao fought a black fighter, which is Floyd Mayweather, he had his highest pay-per-view numbers. When he fought a Hispanic fighter, which is Rios, he had one of his lowest pay-per-view numbers. When Donaire fought Rigondeaux, he got his highest payday, his highest views on HBO. So when fighters try to use that excuse to duck Rigondeaux, it's a stupid-ass excuse, because at the end of the day, facts are, when you fight Rigondeaux, you get your highest payday and your highest views, or one of your highest payday. That's a fact. So, like I said, it's all about the best fighting the best. And shout out to Lomachenko for taking this fight. And like I said, nothing but respect to Rigondeaux for wanting to prove himself at this age when he didn't have to. So subscribe below and peace.